I want to talk about talking poorly of others, and we're all guilty of this. Okay, it's not just you. A lot of people are, and somehow this has become normalized in our culture. We all know this. I mean, celebrity gossip, or you just see social media, people talking poorly of like this group, the left, the right. This particular person. We see in our friends. Our friends talk poorly about so and so, and then we're like, yeah. They're a-holes and blah 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 blah. But what I'm here to challenge you, if you are a Christian, if you're not, then I'm not here. It's probably not the right video for you. But if you are a Christian, this is something that you have to take very seriously. And I could tell you multiple reasons why that are not only just spiritual, but also secular, practical in your lives. But the important thing is it's very clear in Scripture. Okay, I have several verses here that talk about gossip. How many people say gossip anymore, right? It's talking poorly of others. And I get it, guys. Like, I know the appeal. The appeal is, if first of all, this is a psychological thing, it feels good to put down others because it boosts our own ego. It justifies us, and it boosts us, makes us feel better when we're putting down someone. This is why kids bully. It feels good, okay? And you also feel like you're getting close with the other person that you're gossiping with. Like, you're kind of, like, yeah, like blah, 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 blah. And then it's just, you feel like you're like teaming up and you're just talking poorly of others. I get the appeal of it, but it says very, very clearly in the Bible. And I have several verses here, guys. There's so many verses about this stuff, but I'm just going to talk about one because it makes it so simple. Titus 3:2, it says, to speak evil of no one. Not someone or some people. No, it says no one. To avoid quarreling, to be gentle and show perfect courtesy toward all people. All right. So listen, it's very clear in the Bible. We're not to speak negatively of others. And what I will say is, God puts out laws in the world. There's so much wisdom in this book. There's so much wisdom, but it's also very practical. And I'll tell you why. Because there's this man named Stephen Covey. And I don't know if you guys have read this book by Stephen Covey. The book is called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And oh my gosh, that book is one of the most amazing books out there that shows practical advice about your life. Okay? These are very highly effective people, not only highly effective in terms of money and success, but in terms of their marriages, their relationships. And one of the things it talks about is the emotional bank account. And if you don't know the concept of the emotional bank account, please YouTube it. This is such an important thing. It's so practical. If you want to have good, long-lasting relationships, and you're struggling, oh man, I don't really have long-term relationships, or I struggle with my relationships with anybody, your parents, your friends, your spouse. Listen, this is the reason why. I mean, that book is one of the best books on relationships. And this is what it talks about, is that we have this thing called the emotional bank account. So imagine like a bank account, and you do deposits and you do withdrawals. And the health of the relationship is exemplified in how much deposits that you've put and how many withdrawals that you've taken. Because if you withdraw too much, you destroy the relationship. When you withdraw too much, the other person starts treating you poorly, starts mistrusting you, starts just not trusting you as a person. And if you're wondering like, oh man, like, why don't you trust me? Some people, for example, men, they're like, why don't you trust me? I haven't done anything wrong. Well, I can guarantee there's subconscious things that you've done that makes this person not trust you. There's always a reason. Listen, there's probably the 1% of people who are just really, they have high anxiety and they're just very mistrusting. And that's their problem. But listen, for the most, I would say 99% of people, there's a reason why they are acting the way they do. A lot of people trust me, all right? Because I learned this when I was gosh, this was like early 20s. And it was one of the best things that I have learned because so many people trust me. They trust me with their money. They trust me with relationships. I know a lot of secrets that a lot of people don't. I've never talked about them. Okay. They stay with me. They'll die with me too. And I can tell you there's a formula to this. So let's talk about it. What are some of these withdrawals? They are breaking promises. So saying you're going to be on time or saying you're going to be there at 10 o'clock and you're arriving at 10:20. Okay, that's breaking a promise. Saying you're going to do something and then reneging your promises. That is killing the relationship. Unkindness, discourtesies, violating expectations, pride, conceit, arrogance, defensiveness, placing blame, and here's the one: disloyalty to the absent. So when this person is not here, you're being disloyal by gossiping about them and making rumors about them. Those are withdrawals. You do those enough, and you will lose. Eventually, that relationship breaks. For a lot of people, that relationship breaks. Because what happens is when you turn around, right, the other person, it's like everything could be fine for, a week, a month, maybe even years. But eventually, they're going to start feeling, when something goes wrong between you two, they're going to start feeling that person, that you are talking poorly about them. Even though you may not, they're going to start feeling that. Okay? This is what destroys relationships, especially marriages. Okay? Some deposits are keeping your promises, kindness, courtesies, clarifying expectations, loyalty to the absent. And I'm going to elaborate more on that because that's the topic. Acknowledgement, sincere apologies, and being open to feedback. Okay, listen. You could be either one of two people. You could be the person who's talking poorly about the other person, or you could be the person who's listening to the person who is talking poorly about the other person and agreeing and spurring it on and putting fuel to the flame, okay? And I'll tell you, in both scenarios, you're wrong, according to the Bible. And it's very destructive on your relationships. And I get it. Like, listen, your friend is your friend is venting and angry, and I totally get it. But your job is not to necessarily push to destroy the relationship, unless, and there's ways to do it, unless the person is genuinely like a bad person and they need to break the relationship. There's a good way to go about it. But the point is that, especially, okay, so this is what I see, honestly, a lot. I see this a lot in marriages where it's like, okay, the wife has a problem with the husband, the wife talks to the friend, and then the wife, obviously she's only telling her side of the story, but she's talking poorly of her husband, and then the friend is like, oh wow, he's an a-hole, wow, he really did that, he's horrible, you should, don't take that from him, you should leave him, like, what a piece of trash. That happens all the time. And I'm telling you, this is destroying. You could see it in the Bible to not be a slanderer, okay? Because this is destroying relationships, guys. Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, okay? But only such as is good for building up. Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit, okay? Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble. And there's just so many, a dishonest man spreads strife. There's just so many Bible verses about this, guys. And so what you're doing is making so many withdrawals among your friends. So there's such a practicality. You're destroying relationships by gossiping. And even, even when you're talking. So, okay, I'll end with this because I don't want to get too long. The point is, guys, is that you have to be careful. Life and death are in the power of the words. You have to be careful about what you say to people. You have to, listen, there's a way to vent. Talk about your feelings. Talk about how they made you feel. But ultimately, you don't want to talk poorly about the person. There's a way to vent healthily, okay? And then if you're the person who's listening to your friend, be there for your friend. Acknowledge their feelings. Be empathetic, okay? But don't get into this cycle of talking poorly about the other person, especially when it comes to people's marriages, because you are the reason You are one of the main reasons why their relationship's being destroyed. By acknowledging, by receiving, by then spurring this negativity. Oh yeah, you should just leave him. Oh yeah, oh he's such a horrible person. Oh, and then you're strengthening a narrative when really what you should be doing, a negative narrative, what you really should be doing is acknowledging it, like acknowledging how they feel. But then also, what's really powerful is actually speaking well of the person. Well, at least the person is good to your children, right? At least the person works really hard and is trying to survive, or some kind of positivity, and trying to remind the person that there are positive parts to the person they're gossiping about. So I'm going to end with this, guys. It's so important. It's in the Bible. It says not to do it, and I know it's hard. But I just really encourage you guys today to do this, and it'll change your relationships. Don't be a poison to other people's relationships. Don't poison your relationships by talking poorly, and just spread positive words, and that'll really change who you are. And remember, we're being watched by the Lord, and God sees all. God sees every single word that comes out of our mouth. So let that be an encouragement. I hope this helps, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video.